6. Place: the rented mud premises at Belur, year 1898. The disciple is staying with Swamiji at the garden house of Nilambar Babu at Belur for the last 2 days. Today, Swamiji has given permission to the disciple to stay in his room at night. When the disciple was serving Swamiji and massaging his feet, he spoke to him. What folly! Leaving such a place as this, you want to go back to Calcutta? See what an atmosphere of holiness is here, the pure air of the Ganga. What an assemblage of sadhus! Will you find anywhere a place like this? Disciple: Sir, as the fruition of great austerities in past lives, I have been blessed with your company. Now bless me that I may not be overcome by ignorance and delusion any more. Now my mind sometimes is seized with a great longing for some direct spiritual realization. Swamiji: I also felt like that many times. One day in the Kosipur garden, I had expressed my prayer to Sri Ramakrishna with great earnestness. Then in the evening, at the hour of meditation, I lost the consciousness of the body and felt that it was absolutely non existent. I felt that the sun, moon, space, time, ether, and all had been reduced to a homogeneous mass and then melted far away into the unknown. The body consciousness had almost vanished, and I had nearly merged in the Supreme. But I had just a trace of the feeling of ego, so I could again return to the world of relativity from the Samadhi. In this state of Samadhi, all the difference between I and the Brahman goes away. Everything is reduced into unity, like the waters of the infinite ocean. Water everywhere, nothing else exists. Language and thought all fail there. Then only is the state beyond mind and speech realized in its actuality. Otherwise, so long as the religious aspirant thinks or says, I am the Brahman, I, and the Brahman, these two entities persist. There is the involved semblance of duality. After that experience, even after trying repeatedly, I failed to bring back the state of Samadhi. On informing Sri Ramakrishna about it, he said, If you remain day and night in that state, the work of the Divine Mother will not be accomplished. Therefore, you won't be able to induce that state again. When your work is finished, it will come again. Disciple: On the attainment of the absolute and transcendent Nirvikalpa Samadhi, can none return to the world of duality through the consciousness of egoism? Swamiji: Sri Ramakrishna used to say that the avatars alone can descend to the ordinary plane from that state of Samadhi for the good of the world. Ordinary jivas do not. Immersed in that state, they remain alive for a period of 21 days. After that, their body drops like a sere leaf from the tree of samsara, world. Disciple: When in Samadhi the mind is merged and there remain no waves on the surface of consciousness, where then is the possibility of mental activity and returning to the world through the consciousness of ego? When there is no mind, then who will descend from Samadhi to the relative plane, and by what means? Swamiji: The conclusion of the Vedanta is that when there is absolute Samadhi and cessation of all modifications, there is no return from that state. As the Vedanta aphorism says, Anavrittihi Shabdat. There is non-return from scriptural texts. But the avatars cherish a few desires for the good of the world. By taking hold of that thread, they come down from the superconscious to the conscious state. Disciple: But sir, if one or two desires remain, how can that state be called the absolute, transcendent Samadhi? For the scriptures say that in that state, all the modifications of the mind and all desires are stamped out. Swamiji: How then can there be projection of the universe after Mahapralaya, final dissolution? At Mahapralaya, everything is merged in the Brahman. But even after that, one hears and reads of creation in the scriptures. That projection and contraction of the universe go on in wave forms. Like the fresh creation and dissolution of the universe after Mahapralaya, the superconscious and conscious states of avatars also stand to reason. Disciple: If I argue that at the time of dissolution the seeds of further creation remain almost merged in Brahman, and that it is not absolute dissolution or nirvikalpa samadhi? Swamiji: Then I shall ask you to answer how the projection of the universe is possible from Brahman, in which there is no shadow of any qualification, which is unaffected and unqualified. Disciple: Why, this is but a seeming projection. The reply to the question is given in the scriptures in this way, that the manifestation of creation from Brahman is only an appearance like the mirage in the desert. But really, there has been no creation or anything of the kind. This illusion is produced by Maya, which is the negation of the eternally existing Brahman and hence unreal. Swamiji: If the creation is false, then you can also regard the Nirvikalpa Samadhi of Jiva and his return therefrom as seeming appearances. Jiva is Brahman by his nature. How can he have any experience of bondage? Your desire to realize the truth that you are Brahman is also a hallucination in that case, for the scripture says, you are already that. Therefore, Ayameva hite bandhaha samadhi manutisthasi. This is verily your bondage that you are practicing the attainment of samadhi. Disciple: This is a great dilemma. If I am Brahman, why don't I always realize it? Swamiji: In order to attain to that realization in the conscious plane, some instrumentality is required. The mind is that instrument in us, but it is a non intelligent substance. It only appears to be intelligent through the light of the Atman behind. Therefore, the author of the Panchadashi 3.40 says, Chitchaya Veshataha Shaktischetaneva Vibhati Sa. The Shakti appears to be intelligent by the reflection of the intelligence of the Atman. Hence, the mind also appears to us like an intelligent substance. Therefore, it is certain that you won't be able to know the Atman, the essence of intelligent, through the mind. You have to go beyond the mind. As there is no instrument beyond the mind, for only the Atman exists there the object of knowledge becomes the same as the instrument of knowledge. The knower, knowledge, and the instrument of knowledge become one and the same. It is therefore that the Shruti says, Vijñātāramare kena vijaniyat. Through what are you to know the eternal subject? The real fact is that there is a state beyond the conscious plane, where there is no duality of the knower, knowledge, and the instrument of knowledge, etc. When the mind is merged, that state is perceived. I say it is perceived, because there is no other word to express that state. Language cannot express that state. Shankaracharya has styled it transcendent perception, aparokshanubhuti. Even after that transcendent perception, avatars descend to the relative plane and give glimpses of that. Therefore, it is said that the Vedas and other scriptures have originated from the perception of seers. The case of ordinary jivas is like that of the salt doll, which attempting to sound the depths of the ocean melted into it. Do you see? The sum and substance of it is, you have only got to know that you are eternal Brahman. You are already that. Only the intervention of a non-intelligent mind, which is called Maya in the scriptures, is hiding that knowledge. When the mind composed of subtle matter is quelled, the Atman is effulgent by its own radiance. One proof of the fact that Maya or mind is an illusion is that the mind by itself is non-intelligent and of the nature of darkness, and it is the light of the Atman behind that makes it appear as intelligent. When you will understand this, the mind will merge in the unbroken ocean of intelligence. Then you will realize, Ayamatma Brahma, this Atman is Brahman. Then Swamiji, addressing the disciple, said, You feel sleepy, then go to sleep. In the night, the disciple had a wonderful dream, as a result of which he earnestly begged Swamiji's permission to worship him. Swamiji had to acquiesce, and after the ceremony was over, he said to the disciple, Well, your worship is finished. But Premananda will be in a rage at your sacrilegious act of worshipping my feet in the flower tray meant for Sri Ramakrishna's worship. Before his words were finished, Swami Premananda came there, and Swamiji said to him, See what a sacrilege he has committed. With the requisites of Sri Ramakrishna's worship, he has worshipped me. Swami Premananda, smiling, said, Well done. Are you and Sri Ramakrishna different? Hearing which, the disciple felt at ease. The disciple is an orthodox Hindu. Not to speak of prohibited food, he does not even take food touched by another. Therefore, Swamiji sometimes used to refer to him as priest. Swamiji, while he was eating biscuits with his breakfast, said to Swami Sadananda, Bring the priest in here. When the disciple came to Swamiji, he gave some portion of his food to him to eat. Finding the disciple accepting it without any demur, Swamiji said, "Do you know what you have eaten now? These are made from eggs." In reply, the disciple said, "Whatever may be in it, I have no need to know. Taking this sacramental food from you, I have become immortal." Thereupon Swamiji said, "I bless you that from this day all your egoism of caste, color, high birth, religious merit and demerit, and all may vanish forever."